Hello, my name is Natasha, and I'm thrilled to have you here today. Let me ask you this. Have you ever made a New Year's resolution? Did you stick to it, or did it get lost in the chaos of everyday life? As we approach a fresh start with the new year, it's the perfect time to think about building a plan for personal growth. What do you want to achieve this year? Do you have a clear goal in mind? Or perhaps you're wondering how to even begin planning for growth? Don't worry. This episode is all about creating a step-by-step guide to help you make meaningful progress. We'll discuss setting realistic goals, building habits, and staying motivated throughout the year. Let's start by talking about why planning for the new year matters. Why is it important to set goals in the first place? Think about that for a moment while we dive in. Setting goals is a powerful way to create direction and purpose in your life. Without goals, it can be easy to drift through the days without a clear sense of where you're heading. But when you take the time to plan, it helps you stay focused, motivated, and organized. It gives you something concrete to work towards, making it easier to measure progress and celebrate your achievements along the way. But how do we begin? First, it's essential to understand that personal growth doesn't have to be about huge life-altering changes. In fact, small, consistent improvements are often more effective than trying to make drastic changes all at once. Think about it. Trying to go from being a night owl to waking up at 5 a.m. every day might sound like a great idea, but it's not always realistic, especially if you're not used to that routine. Instead, break down the process into smaller, more manageable steps that feel achievable. Start by reflecting on the past year. What were your successes? What did you learn? And where do you feel there is room for improvement? Reflecting on your achievements and challenges helps you identify areas for growth. Maybe you realize that you didn't prioritize your health enough, or perhaps you want to invest more time in your personal relationships. Whatever it is, it's important to understand where you stand before deciding where you want to go. Now that you've thought about your past year, it's time to think about your future goals. Have you ever asked yourself, what do I want to achieve in the next 12 months? This could be anything from learning a new skill, improving your fitness, or even traveling to a new place. Whatever your goals are, they need to be specific, measurable, and achievable. Instead of saying, I want to get healthier, you could set a goal like, I want to exercise for 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week. This makes your goal clear and provides a way to track your progress. A helpful tool for this is the SMART goal framework. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Let's break that down. Specific. Your goal should be clear and well-defined. Instead of saying, I want to be more productive, say, I want to complete my daily tasks by 3 p.m. every day. Measurable. Make sure you can track your progress. For example, if your goal is to save money, set an amount you want to save each month. Achievable. Your goal should be realistic. If you've never run a mile, aiming to run a marathon in a month might not be the best idea. Relevant. Choose goals that are meaningful to you. They should align with your values and priorities. Time-bound. Set a deadline for yourself. This helps create a sense of urgency and encourages you to take action. By using the SMART framework, you can set goals that are practical and easy to work towards. Once you've identified a few goals, break them down into smaller steps. For example, if your goal is to learn a new language, your first step might be to commit to learning 10 new words each day. Gradually increase the difficulty as you progress, and you'll see yourself improving little by little. Another important aspect of setting goals is the why. Ask yourself why you want to achieve each goal. Knowing the deeper reason behind your objectives will give you the motivation to keep going when things get tough. For example, if your goal is to exercise regularly, think about why that's important. Maybe you want to feel stronger, improve your health, or have more energy. Understanding your motivation will help keep you focused during moments of doubt or difficulty. Now that we've touched on goal setting, let's move on to another important part of personal growth: building habits. Goals are great, but habits are what make them a reality. How do we build habits that stick? Habits are the foundation of personal growth. While goals give you a destination, habits are the small, consistent actions that get you there. Think of habits as the building blocks of your daily routine. The more you repeat a behavior, the stronger it becomes, and over time, it can shape your identity. But how do you create habits that stick? The first step is to start small. Many people make the mistake of trying to change too much. too fast. For example, if your goal is to read more, you might set a goal to finish a book every week. While that's a great aspiration, it might feel overwhelming if you're not used to reading regularly. Instead, start by committing to reading for just 5 minutes a day. Once you've established the habit, you can gradually increase the time. The key is to make it so easy that you can't say no. Another crucial element of building habits is consistency. It's not about doing something perfectly. It's about showing up every day. Even if you don't feel motivated, doing the smallest version of the habit keeps the momentum going. Let's say you want to start exercising. If you're having a tough day, it's okay to just do a quick stretch or take a short walk. What matters is that you stick to the habit no matter how small the effort. It's also helpful to tie new habits to existing ones. This is called habit stacking. For example, if you want to practice gratitude, you could make it a habit to write down 3 things you're grateful for every morning after brushing your teeth. By linking the new habit to something you already do, it becomes easier to remember and integrate into your routine. Accountability is another powerful tool for building habits. Share your goals with a friend, family member, or even a community of like-minded people. When someone else knows about your intentions, you're more likely to follow through. You can also use apps or trackers to monitor your progress and celebrate small wins along the way. Seeing your streak grow can be incredibly motivating. Now, let's talk about the importance of environment in habit formation. Your surroundings play a big role in shaping your behavior. If your goal is to eat healthier, start by keeping nutritious snacks visible and within reach, while storing less healthy options out of sight. Similarly, if you want to spend less time on social media, you could move your phone to another room during work hours or replace it with a book on your nightstand. Small changes in your environment can make a big difference. One of the best strategies for building habits is to focus on your identity rather than the outcome. Instead of saying, "I want to lose 10 pounds," try saying, "I'm someone who prioritizes their health." When you identify as the kind of person who embodies your goal, your actions will naturally align with that identity. For example, if you see yourself as a writer, you'll be more likely to write regularly. If you see yourself as someone who values learning, you'll find ways to learn every day. But what happens when you hit a setback? Maybe you miss a day or two, and it feels like you've lost all your progress. Don't let this discourage you. The truth is, everyone slips up now and then. What matters is how quickly you get back on track. Instead of feeling guilty, remind yourself that one missed day doesn't erase all the effort you've put in. Treat it as a learning opportunity and move forward. Rewards are another effective way to reinforce positive habits. When you achieve a milestone, celebrate it. The reward doesn't have to be big. It could be as simple as treating yourself to your favorite snack or taking a break to do something you enjoy. Rewards create a positive association with the habit, making it more likely that you'll stick to it. Finally, remember that habits take time to form. Research suggests that it can take anywhere from 18 to 254 days to build a habit, depending on its complexity. So be patient with yourself and trust the process. Focus on progress, not perfection, and celebrate every step forward. Now that we've covered the basics of building habits, let's talk about how to stay motivated throughout the year. Motivation often comes and goes, so how can you keep moving forward even when it feels like your energy is fading? Motivation is an essential part of personal growth, but as we all know, it doesn't last forever. There will be days when you feel energized and ready to tackle your goals, and there will be days when you'd rather stay in bed. That's completely normal. So how do you stay on track when your motivation dips? Let's explore some practical strategies to keep yourself moving forward. One of the most effective ways to maintain motivation is to reconnect with your why. Why did you set this goal in the first place? What makes it meaningful to you? For example, if your goal is to improve your fitness, your why might be to feel stronger, have more energy, or set a positive example for your family. Write down your reasons and keep them somewhere visible, like on your desk or fridge. Whenever you feel your motivation slipping, remind yourself of why you started. Another great way to stay motivated is to focus on small wins. Big goals can feel overwhelming, but breaking them into smaller, more manageable tasks makes them less intimidating. Let's say your goal is to learn a new language. Instead of aiming to become fluent immediately, start with learning a few basic phrases, then move on to simple conversations. Celebrate each milestone along the way, no matter how small. These small victories build momentum and give you the confidence to keep going. Visualization is another powerful tool. Picture yourself achieving your goal. What does it look like? How does it feel? For instance, if your goal is to save money for a vacation, imagine yourself enjoying that trip, walking on the beach, exploring a new city, or relaxing with your loved ones. Visualization helps you stay connected to the outcome you're working towards, making it easier to push through challenges. Accountability is also crucial for maintaining motivation. Share your goals with someone you trust, whether it's a friend, family member, or mentor. Knowing that someone else is rooting for you and checking in on your progress can be a powerful motivator. You can also join a community or group of people who share similar goals. For example, if you're working on fitness, consider joining a local gym class or an online fitness community. Surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals creates a sense of camaraderie and support. Let's talk about setting up rewards. Rewards can be a great way to stay motivated, especially for long-term goals. They don't have to be extravagant. Sometimes small treats can be just as effective. For example, if you've completed a week of consistent exercise, reward yourself with a relaxing evening or your favorite meal. The key is to associate positive feelings with the effort you're putting in. However, it's important to choose rewards that align with your goals. For instance, if your goal is to eat healthier, rewarding yourself with junk food might not be the best choice. Instead, treat yourself to something non-food related, like a new book or a fun activity. Another helpful strategy is to anticipate obstacles. No journey is without its challenges, so it's important to plan for them. Think about the potential roadblocks you might face and come up with strategies to overcome them. For example, if you know you struggle with procrastination, set specific deadlines for yourself or use a timer to stay focused. If you're worried about losing interest, mix things up by trying new approaches or techniques to keep your journey exciting. Sometimes, a lack of motivation comes from burnout rather than laziness. If you've been pushing yourself too hard, it's okay to take a break. Resting doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're giving yourself the time to recharge so you can come back stronger. Use your downtime to reflect on your progress, reevaluate your goals if needed, and remind yourself of the bigger picture. One underrated but incredibly effective strategy is to track your progress. Keeping a journal, using an app, or even creating a visual chart can help you see how far you've come. For example, if your goal is to exercise regularly, mark each workout on a calendar. Over time, seeing those marks build up can be incredibly motivating. It's a visual reminder that your efforts are paying off, even if progress feels slow in the moment. Let's not forget the power of positive affirmations. The way you talk to yourself matters. Replace negative thoughts like, "I'll never achieve this," with positive ones like, "I'm capable of achieving my goals." Whenever you catch yourself doubting your abilities, counter those thoughts with affirmations that build your confidence and remind you of your potential. Finally, remember that motivation isn't something you have to rely on every day. Discipline and consistency are even more important. Developing a growth mindset is a key factor in building a New Year's plan for personal growth. But what is a growth mindset? Simply put, it's the belief that your abilities, skills, and intelligence can improve with effort, learning, and persistence. People with a growth mindset see challenges as opportunities, not obstacles. They embrace failure as a chance to learn and grow, rather than as a reflection of their limitations. Let's explore how you can cultivate a growth mindset and apply it to your goals for the new year. First, it's important to challenge fixed beliefs about yourself. A fixed mindset is the opposite of a growth mindset. It's the belief that your traits and abilities are static and cannot change. For example, if you've ever thought, "I'm just not good at math," or "I'll never be creative," that's a fixed mindset at work. These beliefs can hold you back from even trying to improve. To adopt a growth mindset, start questioning these assumptions. Ask yourself, what if I could get better at this? What steps could I take to improve? By shifting your perspective, you open the door to growth and new possibilities. A great way to embrace a growth mindset is to view challenges as opportunities to learn. Let's say you're learning a new skill, like cooking or playing an instrument. Instead of getting frustrated when you make mistakes, try to see them as part of the learning process. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this mistake? For example, if a recipe doesn't turn out the way you hoped, analyze what went wrong. Maybe you overcooked something, or perhaps you didn't measure an ingredient correctly. Each mistake teaches you something valuable and brings you closer to success. Feedback is another essential part of growth. It can be difficult to hear criticism, but constructive feedback is one of the best ways to improve. Instead of taking it personally, use it as a tool for growth. For example, if your boss suggests you work on your time management skills, don't view it as a failure. Instead, think, this is an opportunity to improve and become more efficient. Seek out feedback actively, whether from colleagues, friends, or mentors, and use it to guide your efforts. Resilience is a cornerstone of a growth mindset. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward. Life is full of ups and downs, and no journey toward personal growth is without its challenges. When things don't go as planned, it's easy to feel defeated. But resilience allows you to pick yourself up, learn from the experience, and keep going. For example, if you've set a goal to exercise 3 times a week but miss a few days, don't give up. Instead, focus on what you can do next. Maybe you can adjust your schedule or try a different workout that fits better into your routine. Let's talk about the power of yet. This simple word can transform the way you think about your abilities. For example, instead of saying, I can't do this, say, I can't do this yet. Adding yet shifts your mindset from one of limitation to one of potential. It reminds you that growth is a journey, and that skills develop over time with practice and effort. Learning to reframe failure is another powerful tool for developing a growth mindset. Failure isn't the end, it's a step on the path to success. Consider some of the world's most successful people, like inventors, entrepreneurs, or athletes. Almost all of them have stories of failure that ultimately led to their greatest achievements. For instance, Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he famously said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Adopting this perspective can help you see failure as a necessary part of growth. Another important aspect of a growth mindset is the willingness to step out of your comfort zone. Growth rarely happens when you stay in familiar territory. It's when you try new things, take risks, and face uncertainty that you truly grow. For example, if you're shy, stepping out of your comfort zone might mean joining a group or speaking in front of an audience. It's scary, but each step you take builds your confidence and expands your capabilities. Let's explore the role of curiosity in a growth mindset. Curiosity is the drive to learn and explore. It's what makes you ask questions, seek out new experiences, and delve deeper into the topics that interest you. Cultivating curiosity can make your personal growth journey more enjoyable and fulfilling. For example, if you're interested in improving your financial literacy, let curiosity guide you. Research different budgeting methods, read books about investing, or take a course on personal finance. The more curious you are, the more you'll learn, and the more you'll grow. Finally, let's discuss the importance of patience and persistence. Growth takes time, and it's easy to get discouraged when you don't see immediate results. But remember, every small step you take brings you closer to your goals. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and keep going. Persistence is what turns effort into results. Even when progress feels slow, trust that your efforts are building towards something meaningful. Incorporating a growth mindset into your New Year's plan can transform the way you approach your goals. It helps you see challenges as opportunities, view failure as a stepping stone, and believe in your ability to improve. By adopting this mindset, you set yourself up for a year of learning, growth, and success. As we continue building a New Year's plan for personal growth, let's shift our focus to the importance of setting meaningful and realistic goals. Goals are like the roadmap for your journey. They give you direction and purpose. However, not all goals are created equal. To ensure that your efforts lead to real progress, it's important to set goals that are both achievable and aligned with your values. In this response, we'll explore strategies for setting effective goals and discuss how to stay motivated throughout the year. First, let's talk about the importance of clarity in goal setting. Have you ever set a vague goal like, I want to get healthier or I want to save money, only to find yourself struggling to follow through? The problem with vague goals is that they lack focus. To set yourself up for success, try making your goals as specific as possible. For example, instead of saying, I want to get healthier, you could say, I want to exercise for 30 minutes 3 times a week. This specific goal gives you a clear target to aim for, making it easier to track your progress. Another key to effective goal setting is making your goals measurable. When you can measure your progress, you'll know whether you're on track or need to adjust your approach. Let's take the example of saving money. Instead of setting a general goal like, I want to save money, you could aim to save $500 by the end of March. This goal is measurable because it has a specific number and a deadline. Each time you add to your savings, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment, which will motivate you to keep going. Realism is another important aspect of goal setting. While it's great to dream big, setting goals that are too ambitious can lead to frustration and burnout. For example, if you've never run before, setting a goal to run a marathon in 1 month might not be realistic. Instead, you could aim to run a 5K in 3 months and then gradually work your way up to longer distances. Setting realistic goals ensures that you can achieve them without feeling overwhelmed. Let's explore the concept of SMART goals. You may have heard of this framework before. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Using the SMART framework is a great way to create goals that are clear and actionable. For example, let's say your goal is to improve your English skills. A SMART goal might look like this. I will spend 20 minutes a day practicing English vocabulary using a language app, and I will aim to learn 100 new words by the end of February. This goal is specific, focused on vocabulary, measurable, 100 new words, achievable, 20 minutes a day is manageable, relevant, aligned with your desire to improve your skills, and time-bound, set within a specific time frame. Now let's talk about breaking down big goals into smaller steps. Sometimes large goals can feel overwhelming. For example, if your goal is to write a book, the idea of completing an entire manuscript might seem daunting. To make it more manageable, break it into smaller milestones. Start with an outline, then focus on writing 1 chapter at a time. Each small step you complete brings you closer to your ultimate goal, making the process feel more achievable and less intimidating. Motivation is a critical factor in achieving your goals, and one of the best ways to stay motivated is to connect your goals to your values. Ask yourself, why is this goal important to me? For example, if your goal is to improve your physical fitness, think about the deeper reasons behind it. Maybe you want to feel more energetic, set a positive example for your children, or reduce your risk of health issues. When your goals align with your values, you'll feel more driven to work toward them, even when the going gets tough. Another strategy for staying motivated is to track your progress. Keeping a journal, using a habit tracker, or marking milestones on a calendar can help you see how far you've come. For example, if your goal is to read more books this year, you could track the titles and dates of the books you finish. Each completed book becomes a visual reminder of your progress, which can boost your confidence and encourage you to keep going. Celebrating small victories is also important for maintaining motivation. When you achieve a milestone, take a moment to acknowledge your hard work. For example, if your goal is to learn a new skill, like cooking, celebrate each successful dish you prepare. Treat yourself to something you enjoy, whether it's a favorite snack, a relaxing evening, or a small gift. Celebrating your progress reminds you that your efforts are paying off and keeps you excited about the journey. Let's not forget the role of accountability in achieving your goals. Sharing your goals with a friend, family member, or mentor can provide an extra layer of motivation. When someone else knows about your goals, you're more likely to stay committed because you don't want to let them down. For example, if your goal is to exercise regularly, you could find a workout buddy who will join you for your sessions. Knowing that someone is counting on you can be a powerful motivator. Finally, let's discuss the importance of flexibility in your goal-setting process. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes unexpected challenges or opportunities can arise. If your original plan isn't working, don't be afraid to adjust your goals or try a different approach. For example, if your goal was to take a weekly dance class but the class gets canceled, you could explore other options, like an online course or a different type of exercise. Flexibility ensures that you can adapt to changing circumstances while still working toward personal growth. Setting meaningful and realistic goals is an essential part of building a New Year's plan for personal growth. By using strategies like the SMART framework, breaking goals into smaller steps, and staying motivated through tracking and accountability, you can turn your aspirations into reality. Remember, the journey toward your goals is just as important as the destination. Celebrate your progress, learn from your experiences, and keep moving forward. Now that we've discussed how to set realistic and meaningful goals, let's dive deeper into the concept of habits and how they play a crucial role in personal growth. While goals give you a destination to aim for, habits are the daily actions that move you closer to that destination. Building positive habits and breaking negative ones can have a profound impact on your life, shaping who you are and what you achieve. In this section, we'll explore strategies for developing good habits, overcoming obstacles, and creating an environment that supports your success. Let's start by understanding what habits really are. A habit is a behavior that you repeat regularly, often without even thinking about it. For example, brushing your teeth every morning is likely a habit for you. It's something you do automatically, without needing to remind yourself. Habits are powerful because they allow you to perform tasks efficiently, freeing up mental energy for more complex decisions. The key to personal growth is intentionally creating habits that align with your goals and values. To build a new habit, it's helpful to start small. One common mistake people make is trying to change too much at once. For instance, if your goal is to start exercising, you might feel tempted to commit to an hour-long workout every day. While this is a great aspiration, it can be overwhelming, especially if you're not used to regular exercise. Instead, start with something manageable, like a 10-minute walk each day. Once this habit becomes second nature, you can gradually increase the intensity or duration. Starting small makes it easier to stick with your new habit, which increases your chances of success. Another effective strategy for building habits is to attach them to existing routines. This approach is called habit stacking. For example, if you want to practice gratitude daily, you could pair this habit with something you already do, like brushing your teeth. Each time you brush your teeth, take a moment to think of 3 things you're grateful for. By linking your new habit to an established routine, you create a trigger that reminds you to follow through. Over time, this repetition strengthens the habit, making it a natural part of your day. Let's talk about the role of consistency in habit formation. Research suggests that it takes an average of 21 to 66 days to form a new habit, depending on the complexity of the behavior. The key during this period is to remain consistent. Even if you don't feel motivated, try to stick with your habit. For example, if your goal is to write every day, commit to writing at least 1 sentence, even on days when you're busy or tired. Consistency builds momentum, and over time, your habit will become automatic. Now, let's address a common challenge: breaking bad habits. We all have habits that we'd like to change, whether it's spending too much time on social media, procrastinating, or eating unhealthy snacks. To break a bad habit, it's important to identify its triggers. For example, if you find yourself scrolling through your phone whenever you feel bored, boredom might be the trigger for your habit. Once you understand the trigger, you can replace the bad habit with a healthier alternative. In this case, you could try reading a book, going for a walk, or practicing deep breathing whenever you feel bored. Creating an environment that supports your habits is another important strategy. Your surroundings can either make it easier or harder to stick with your goals. For example, if you're trying to eat healthier, keeping junk food out of your kitchen can reduce temptation. Similarly, if you want to exercise more, laying out your workout clothes the night before can serve as a visual reminder. By designing your environment to support your habits, you remove barriers and make it more likely that you'll follow through. Let's not forget the role of rewards in habit formation. Celebrating small wins can boost your motivation and reinforce your new habits. For example, if you've committed to studying for 30 minutes each day, treat yourself to something enjoyable after you finish, like watching your favorite show or enjoying a cup of tea. Over time, your brain will associate the habit with positive feelings, making it more likely that you'll stick with it. Another powerful tool for building habits is visualization. Picture yourself successfully performing your habit and enjoying the benefits it brings. For instance, if your goal is to meditate daily, imagine yourself sitting peacefully, feeling calm and focused. Visualization helps you mentally rehearse the habit, making it feel more achievable and natural. Accountability is also crucial when it comes to forming habits. Sharing your goals with a friend, joining a group with similar interests, or using an app to track your progress can provide the extra encouragement you need to stay on track. For example, if you want to learn a new language, joining a study group or finding a language partner can make the process more engaging and enjoyable. Knowing that someone else is cheering you on can motivate you to keep going, even when it's challenging. Lastly, let's talk about patience and self-compassion. Building new habits takes time, and it's normal to face setbacks along the way. If you miss a day or make a mistake, don't be too hard on yourself. Instead, focus on getting back on track as quickly as possible. Remember, progress is more important than perfection. Each small step you take brings you closer to your goals, so be kind to yourself and celebrate your efforts. Habits are the foundation of personal growth, shaping your actions and ultimately determining your success. By starting small, staying consistent, and creating a supportive environment, you can build habits that align with your goals and values. Whether you're working on developing new habits or breaking old ones, remember that the process is a journey. Embrace the ups and downs, stay patient, and keep moving forward. We've explored the importance of habits, their formation, and how they can be the backbone of achieving your goals. Now, let's shift our focus to a related topic that plays an equally vital role in building a successful New Year's plan: time management. Time is one of the most valuable resources we have, yet it's often one of the most difficult to manage effectively. Learning to prioritize tasks, eliminate distractions, and structure your day can make a significant difference in achieving personal growth. Let's begin with a simple yet powerful question. How do you currently spend your time? Many of us go through our days on autopilot, without thinking about how our actions align with our long-term goals. One of the first steps in improving time management is to track your daily activities. For 1 week, jot down everything you do, from work and chores to leisure activities. At the end of the week, review your notes to identify patterns. Are there activities that take up more time than they should? Are there moments when you could be more productive? This self-awareness is the foundation for making meaningful changes. Once you've analyzed how you currently spend your time, it's important to set clear priorities. Not all tasks are created equal. Some contribute significantly to your goals, while others are less important or even unnecessary. A helpful tool for prioritization is the Eisenhower matrix, which divides tasks into 4 categories: urgent and important. Tasks that need immediate attention, like meeting deadlines or handling emergencies. Important, but not urgent. Tasks that contribute to long-term goals, like learning a new skill or exercising. Urgent, but not important. Tasks that demand immediate attention, but don't have a significant impact, like responding to certain emails. Neither urgent nor important. Tasks that don't add value, like excessive social media scrolling. Focus your energy on the first 2 categories as they align with your goals and values. Try to minimize or delegate tasks in the other 2 categories. Another effective strategy is to create a daily schedule. Many people find success with time blocking, a method where you assign specific tasks to specific times of the day. For example, if your goal is to write a book, you could block off 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. each day for writing. By dedicating time to your most important activities, you ensure they don't get overshadowed by less important tasks. A well-structured schedule helps you stay focused and prevents procrastination. Speaking of procrastination, let's address this common challenge. Procrastination often stems from feeling overwhelmed, bored, or unsure of how to start. One way to combat it is to break tasks into smaller, manageable steps. For example, instead of saying, "I need to clean the house," focus on 1 room or even 1 corner at a time. Completing small tasks gives you a sense of accomplishment and motivates you to keep going. Another effective strategy is to create a daily schedule. Many people find success with time blocking, a method where you assign specific tasks to specific times of the day. For example, if your goal is to write a book, you could block off 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. each day for writing. By dedicating time to your most important activities, you ensure they don't get overshadowed by less important tasks. A well-structured schedule helps you stay focused and prevents procrastination. Speaking of procrastination, let's address this common challenge. Procrastination often stems from feeling overwhelmed, bored, or unsure of how to start. One way to combat it is to break tasks into smaller, manageable steps. For example, instead of saying, "I need to clean the house," focus on 1 room or even 1 corner at a time. Completing small tasks gives you a sense of accomplishment and motivates you to keep going. Another tip is to use the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes to complete, do it immediately. This could be something as simple as replying to an email or putting away your shoes. Tackling these small tasks right away prevents them from piling up and frees your mind to focus on larger goals. Eliminating distractions is also key to effective time management. In today's digital age, distractions are everywhere: social media, notifications, and endless online content. To stay focused, try setting specific times to check your phone or email instead of constantly multitasking. You can also use tools like website blockers or focus apps to create a distraction-free environment. If you're working on an important task, consider turning off notifications or putting your phone in another room. Let's not forget the importance of breaks. While it might seem counterintuitive, taking regular breaks can actually increase productivity. The Pomodoro technique is a popular method for managing work and breaks. With this technique, you work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. After 4 cycles, take a longer break of 15 to 30 minutes. These short breaks give your brain a chance to recharge, improving focus and creativity. Now let's talk about long-term planning. While daily schedules are important, it's also helpful to set weekly and monthly plans. At the beginning of each week, review your goals and outline the tasks you need to complete. This gives you a clear sense of direction and helps you allocate your time effectively. At the end of each week, take a few minutes to reflect on your progress. What went well? What could you improve? Adjust your plan as needed to stay on track. One common obstacle to effective time management is overcommitting. It's easy to say yes to every opportunity, but this can lead to burnout and prevent you from focusing on what truly matters. Practice saying no to tasks or events that don't align with your priorities. Remember, every yes to one thing is a no to something else. By protecting your time, you can dedicate more energy to activities that bring you closer to your goals. Another important aspect of time management is self-care. Personal growth isn't just about achieving external goals. It's also about maintaining your well-being. Make sure to include time for relaxation, hobbies, and social connections in your schedule. For example, if you enjoy reading, set aside 20 minutes before bed to unwind with a book. If spending time with family or friends energizes you, plan regular get-togethers. Taking care of yourself ensures you have the energy and focus to pursue your goals. Finally, let's touch on the role of mindset in time management. A positive and proactive mindset can make a huge difference in how you approach your day. Instead of seeing tasks as burdens, view them as opportunities to grow and improve. Celebrate your accomplishments no matter how small, and stay motivated by reminding yourself of why your goals matter. Time management is a skill that takes practice, but the rewards are worth it. By prioritizing your goals, eliminating distractions, and creating a structured plan, you can make the most of each day and achieve meaningful personal growth. Remember, the way you spend your time shapes your life. Choose wisely, stay focused, and take one step at a time toward your dreams. To wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've discussed. Building a New Year's plan for personal growth requires intention, self-awareness, and consistent effort. By setting clear goals, forming positive habits, managing your time wisely, and staying motivated, you can create a meaningful path forward. Remember, personal growth is a journey, not a destination. Celebrate your progress, learn from challenges, and never stop striving to become the best version of yourself. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed this discussion, be sure to subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, I'm Natasha, wishing you all the best on your journey to personal growth. Keep learning, keep growing, and take care.